World Trade Center struck. That day, on September 11th, 2001, the World Trade Center was struck by an airplane. Later on, the South Tower was struck.
I copy that. Yeah, I can talk.
To avoid copyright, please do not report me. I would give every
Copy that. Go ahead. I'm ready.
credit. All credit goes to the creators of this video. Of the World Trade Center video. I made the rest of the video.
Well, what from we can see right here as we were coming up the Hudson River, we can see thick black smoke indicating the fire is still going on right now in the World Trade Center. For as far as the eye can see, and you can tell right here at the top of this tower, there's a huge gaping hole, flames still inside, thick black smoke still coming out. We have not been able to see what, if any kind of an aircraft is inside the building. This is the best vantage point right here, and as you can see, just a huge gaping hole throughout the entire side of this tower right now.
I don't think there's any Airbuses that struck. I think it had to do with Boeing aircrafts.
We are simply not close enough right at this point. We are following the smoke in the air right now. There are several boats and watercraft, as we can see in the river right now. We'll try to get a better vantage point and see what we can see on the ground. It's a little difficult from the air because the buildings kind of shadow the streets. But no doubt a lot of activity on the ground right now.
Any other facts that I missed out, or if you'd like me to do a suggestion on what to do or what to talk about next in historical days. Look at that. South Tower is struck.
Wow.
But if you need any other suggestions,
that apparently does look like it is in the other building at this point.
Every video is weekly. No monthly, no daily. It's all weekly. This video shows a lot of tragic stuff that happened that day.
Back off. They're telling us to back off.
The video is now over. We shall get straight into the facts. Every word that you may hear may be found in Wikipedia, World Trade Center article. This is on article World Trade Center 1973 to 2001 edition. Let's get to it. If you have any other suggestions, please type in the comments down below that you would like me to talk about, say, World War II. I would definitely do that for you. Please like, subscribe, and let's get to it. This article is about the World Trade Center building complex prior to September 11th attacks. For the current buildings, see World Trade Center 2001 to present edition. The original World Trade Center was a large complex of 7 buildings in the financial district of Lower Manhattan, New York City, United States. It opened on April 4th, 1973, and was destroyed in 2001 during the September 11th attacks. At the time of their completion, the Twin Towers, aka the original World Trade Center, the Twin Towers is as high as 1,368 feet, which is also equal to 470 meters, and 2 World Trade Center at 1,362 feet, aka 415.1 meters tall. Those towers were the tallest buildings in the world. Other buildings in the complex included the Marriott World Trade Center, um, the Third World Trade Center, Fourth World Trade Center, Fifth World Trade Center, Sixth World Trade Center, and Seventh World Trade Center. The complex contained 13,400,000 square feet, also equal to 1,240,000 meters square of office space. The core complex was built between 1966 and 1975 at a cost of $400 million, equivalent to $2.27 billion in 2018. During its existence, the World Trade Center experienced several major incidents, including a fire on February 13, 1975, a bombing on February 26, 1933, a bank robbery on January 14, 1998. In 1998, the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey decided to privatize it by leasing the building to a private company to manage. It awarded the lease to Silverstein Properties in July 2001. On the morning of September 11, 2001, Al-Qaeda affiliated hijackers flew two Boeing 767 jets into the North and South Towers within minutes of each other. 2 hours later, both towers collapsed. The attacks killed 2,606 people in and within the vicinity of the towers, as well as all 157 on board the two aircrafts. Falling debris from the towers combined with fire that the debris initiated in several surrounding buildings led to the partial of complete collapse of all buildings in the complex and caused by catastrophic damage to 10 other large structures in the area. The cleanup and recovery process at the World Trade Center site took 8 months, during which the remains of the other buildings were demolished. A new World Trade Center complex is being built with 6 new skyscrapers and several other buildings, many of which are complete, a memorial and museum to those killed in the attacks. A new rapid transit hub and a elevated park have been opened. One World Trade Center, the tallest building in the Western Hemisphere at 1,776 feet, equal to 541 meters, and the lead building for the complex. This project was completed in November 2014. During its existence, the World Trade Center was an icon of New York City. It had a major role in popular culture, and according to one estimate, was depicted in 472 films. Following the World Trade Center's destruction, mentions of the complex were alerted or deleted, and several dozen memorial films were created. Before the World Trade Center, the western portion of the World Trade Center site was originally under the Hudson River. The shoreline was in the vicinity of Greenwich Street, which is a closer site to the eastern border. It was on this shoreline, close to the intersection of Greenwich and former Day Street, that Dutch explorer Adrian Block's ship Tiger burned to the waterline in November 1613, stranding him and his crew and forcing them to overwinter on the island. They built the first European settlement in Manhattan. The remains of the ship were buried under landfill when the shoreline was extended beginning in in 1797 and were discovered during excavation. I don't know how to say that word, sorry. In 1916. The remains of a second 18th century ship were discovered in 2010 during excavation work at this site. The ship, believed to be in a Hudson River sloop, was found just south of where the Twin Towers stood, about 20 feet, 6.1 meters below the surface. Later, the area became New York City's Radio Row, which existed from 1921 to 1966. The neighborhood was a warehouse district in what is now Tribeca and the Final District. Harry Schneck opened City Radio on Cortlandt Street in 1921, and eventually the area held several blocks of electronics stores, with Cortlandt Street and its central axis. The used radios wore surplus electronics, e.g. AN/ARC5 radios. Junk and parts were often piled so high that they'll spill out onto the street, attracting collectors and scroungers across to the business rider. It was also the origin of the electronic component distribution business. Establishment of the World Trade Center. The ideas of establishing a World Trade Center in New York was first proposed in 1943. The New York State Legislature passed a bill authorizing New York Governor Thomas E. Dewey to begin developing plans for the project. But the plans were put on hold in 1949. During the late 1940s and 50s, oh my god, that's such an easy word to say. Economic growth in New York City was concentrated in Midtown Manhattan. To help stimulate urban renewal in Lower Manhattan, David Rockefeller suggested that the Port Authority build a World Trade Center there. Plans for the eminent domain to remove the shops and Radio Row, bounded by Vesey, Church, Liberty, and West Streets, began in 1961 when the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey was deciding to build the first World Trade Center. They had two choices: the east side of Lower Manhattan and near the South Street Seaport, or the west side near Hudson and Manhattan Railroad, which is now H&M Station, Hudson Terminal. Initial plans made public in 1961 identified a site along the East River for World Trade Center. As a bi-state agency, the Port Authority required approval for new projects, and the governors, both New York and New Jersey. New Jersey Governor Robert B. Minor objected to New York getting a $335 million project towards the end of 1961. With outgoing New Jersey Governor Minor reached a stalemate. Ladies and gentlemen, I will stop here. Part 2 may be available. I will probably establish a part 2. If you guys want, please comment down below if you want part 2. Thank you for coming here on this 15-minute and 30-second talk about World Trade Center. Thank you.